This time we have the Diamond Challenge Sculls. So this is open men's single sculls, and we have Borgh from Sweden on the Berkshire station on the left of your screen. He's racing at the start against Keijzer from Holland.
And Lucas has taken this race on. It looks as though his steering's a little bit off. He's going to the middle of the stream, but it looks as though he's really tried to take bull by the horns and put the Swedish sculler under pressure early. Already the race umpire is warning him, get back to that station. Lovely stuff.
Very high rate, wasn't it, out of the start? Either a lot of adrenaline or part of his plan. And then, of course, you know, in those first powerful strokes, you can create a certain amount of lactic acid. Some of that can go, but some of that you have to carry for the race. And the question is, has he paced that right? Has he got enough advantage from the extra strokes he put in there? He's maybe nudging ahead, but it's looking pretty tight coming out the island, isn't it?
And he's used energy to create that. He's then had to course correct, so he's used a little bit more energy than probably the Swedish sculler or Borgh has done. And what we can see is actually there's quite level, and in the headwind with these smaller boats, it just makes things a little bit trickier, particularly with all the popple on the water from those boats and those pleasure cruisers. But this is going to be a long race.
Yeah, so we can see the Dutch sculler here edging ahead. Keijzer, 21 years old. He won the Holland Becker. Yes, he's been in the final of the Pier de Luco. You know, again, he's one of these athletes who is still an under-23 rower. And of course, the Dutch team, the Dutch Olympic team, my goodness, they're in fantastic shape this year. And he's going to be eyeing up, wanting to break into that in future years. But, I mean, he's still within touching distance of Borgh, but I think he's got it under control.
And I think that what Lucas is doing really well, actually, after that initial course correction, he's steering a really nice line. We know he's coached by Peter Weersum, so Peter was a cox in, I think, Beijing, London and Rio. So he's been down this course countless times. He knows the line to steer. He knows what that kind of pacing will be, the markers to look for, and I'm sure he shared that with his sculler here.
It can be a real advantage having a cox as a coach, because they've seen things on course close up, you know, purely thinking about the race plan, purely thinking about the course you take. So it can be a real advantage in situations like this. Huge
advantage. I think almost every time I've been down this course has either been in battle paddling or the heat of battle in the race. So having that cool, calm head, know exactly where to make pushes, you know exactly what markers are there. He'll be sharing that information with his sculler, who's obviously doing a fantastic job here, 3 lengths lead.
So he was a silver medalist in the under-23s in the quad last year. He is an up-and-coming sculler for sure. And we can see there are squalls, there's wind coming across all the way down, and arguably this is the hardest boat class to manage that, because you've got the least boat speed and it's a lighter boat. So, you know, it can be really challenging, although you've only got yourself to manage. So what are the challenges of being in a single in these conditions?
Well, as the single sculler Alan Campbell used to say, it's me and all my friends in the boat, and so what that means is that you've got absolutely no one else to blame other than yourself, but equally you have all the spoils of the prizes. And yes, you mentioned the smaller boat class. What that breeds is opportunity, because the base pace, the race pace of the single compared to the maximum pace is actually quite different. Look at the grimace. You can see that work that's gone in already. The lungs are burning, the legs are burning. I can just feel what that feels like. My goodness, that's a shot of a man who is pushing himself into a painful place, who has come here, who is digging deep. He's actually a world coastal rowing champion last year, or he was won a silver in the World Coastal Rowing Championships. So therefore he should be finding this quite calm relative to what you get in the coastal rowing. It could be quite useful skills for him, but he wasn't able to qualify for Paris, but again, like so many athletes we've seen, they don't want their season to be over. They want to continue racing, but he is really being asked questions by this impressive young sculler from Holland. Beautiful shot of both of those scullers there, and you can just start to feel the bars of Henley as on looking on the banks. You can just start to feel the crescendo of noise that's happening as people come through the enclosures, particularly in these later afternoon races. And what I loved about Borgh there is that, yes, the result is one thing, but what you want to make sure is that you leave no regrets when you come off that water, and you put the race of your life into going from the start to the finish, A to B, as fast as you can. So hats off to him.
I mean, he's digging digging in. You can see quite different styles there. A lighter style. It feels like Lucas Keijzer is sort of somehow going over the top, not getting as bogged down, whereas it's just a power grind out coming from Borgh, who's done all of his winter training and he's working it along. But there's a little bit more skill that's enabling Lucas Keijzer to get the same boat speed for maybe slightly less effort.
He's got the superior boat speed, but I'd also offer that he has the superior psychology being ahead in the race. So once you're ahead, you've got clear water. Mentally, that just gives you a little bit of a sense of calm. You can focus on the good rowing and you can increase that bow speed. Conversely, with Borgh, when you're down, you feel the hull go, and then all of a sudden you feel the puddles go. That's when it becomes so much more difficult.
So because we're a backwards facing sport, the psychology of being ahead is so important. And then when you're on the own, the gremlins in your head are louder. You haven't got anyone else giving you a positive call. You haven't got the cocks kind of urging you on. Come on, give what you've got. You can see there that Lucas Keijzer is totally in control. He's dropped the rate. He's coming down past the enclosures now. Really impressive scull. Technically, really on top of the weather all the way down, and he is one to watch. I think a future Olympian for the Dutch team potentially. We might be seeing him in Los Angeles. And so as we come up to the line, it is a win for Lucas Keijzer in the Diamond Challenge Sculls, and he crosses the line ahead of Borgh, the Swedish sculler who's crossing now, who has grittily rowed down this course today but will be going home this evening.